Hello there, the story ninjas in the house. And listening ninjas, I'm sure you are wondering what today's story is all about. Well, I visited www.nalibali.mobi.org and found a story, yes again, in their multilingual story library. And as you know by now, that I pop in friends and family into the story. It just makes it so much more fun for me. So go and find the story and give it a whirl yourself. This one we've called Max and the Go-Kart. The author is Helen Brain and the illustrator is Magriet Brink. Well, I'm going to ask you to imagine this because I don't have pictures to share. But if you go and visit the website, you are sure to find one or two pictures in that story. Well, we are getting to meet a rather creative, curious, and adventurous young boy living in a small seaside country village. And just like many of us sometimes, with nothing much to do, this little boy started looking around and seeing things that was just about him, or normal everyday things, throwaway things, and he allowed his imagination to spark up with ideas. And I'm sure you want to find out what it's all about. So right, let's get started. It was the beginning of the school holidays, and Max found an old pushchair in the empty field near his home. Like a baby's pram. And it was broken, but it had four good wheels. So he took them off and he looked at them. I wonder what I should make, he thought. I'll make a go-kart. Yes, that was his brilliant idea. I'll make a go-kart. So off he went to the carpenters. Please, sir, do you have some old wood for me? The carpenter went to his woodpile and found Max 3 old planks. Here you are, he said. Now be careful not to get a splinter. Now Max had 4 wheels and 3 planks, but he needed some rope. So off he went to the harbour, and there was Mr. Smith the fisherman offloading some snook. Mr. Smith, do you have some old rope for me, please? Ah, here you are, said the fisherman. 2 meters. Be careful when you cut it. Don't cut your fingers by mistake. Now Max had 4 wheels, 3 planks, and 2 meters of rope. But now, he thought, I need some bolts. Where do you think he'd get bolts from? Let's see. Yes. So off he went to the mechanics at Granville's garage. Please, sir, may I have a few nuts and bolts? Here you are, said the mechanic. Be careful now. Don't hurt yourself when you drill holes for these things. Now Max had 4 wheels, yes, and 3 planks, and 2 meters of rope, and, yes, a handful of nuts and bolts. Wow, you guys have remembered that list. And off he went to his uncle's house. Now Uncle Rodney had a nice big yard, and Max set to work. All morning Max sawed, and he hammered, and he hammered, and he drilled, and he sawed. Rather busy, don't you think? And when afternoon came, he was quite tired. But his go-kart wasn't finished yet either. He still needed to sand it down and smooth down the wood so that he wouldn't get a splinter. Well, along comes Cousin Lily. What are you doing? I'm making a go-kart, explained Max. Can I have a ride in it when it's finished? Asked Lulu. Well, if you help me sand it, Max answered. So Lulu took the sandpaper and began to make the sides nice and smooth. Max's 2 friends, Ishmael and Mackenzie, also came along. They were on their way to the shop, but curious too. What are you making? They asked. We're making a go-kart, said Max and Lulu. Can we have a turn when it's finished? If you help us, they answered. So the boys took more sandpaper and made the inside, the front and the back of the go-kart all nice and smooth. Well, at last the go-kart was finished. I'm having the first ride, said Max, dragging the go-kart to the top of the hill. That's not fair, said Lulu. You said I could have the first go. And us, said Ishmael and Mackenzie. You said we could all ride in it. We all want our turn, said Lulu and Ishmael and Mackenzie. So when they reached the top of the hill, they all piled on. Lulu and Ishmael and Mackenzie all sitting on top of the go-kart and holding on tight. Are we going to hop into that go-kart with them? Right, close your eyes. Picture yourself jumping into that go-kart. Yes, holding on to those ropes. Hold on tight. Max shouted, "Here we go!" giving the go-kart a shove and jumping on the back. Faster and faster they went, rattling and rumbling and screaming and shouting and laughing until suddenly Lulu shouted, "Hey, hey, there's a flame! How do we make this thing stop?" Oops, says Max. Can you forget what he forgot? Or can you remember or think of what he forgot? The brakes! Oops, Max says I forgot the brakes. Oh my heavens. The brakes. The important brakes. Crash! Thump! Thwack! Splash! The go-kart hit the wire fence and the children flew over the fence into the flag. "Ow," said Mackenzie, coming up for air. "My nose hurts." "I know," said Ishmael. "My head hurts," pulling pondweed off his head. "And oh, my backside hurts," says Lulu, staggering out of the sleigh. "Where's Max?" said Lulu. "Is he under the water?" "Is he safe? Has he drowned?" asked Ishmael and Mackenzie. "Here I am," said Max, looking over the fence. "Just look at the poor go-kart." I think he jumped out just in time. Well, on the side of the road lay 4 wheels, 3 planks, yes, 2 meters of rope, and a pile of nuts and bolts. Well, Max is, oh dear, I guess we'll have to start all over again, but this time we need to remember, yes, to add the brakes. Well, boys and girls, listening ninjas, and all the big people around, I'm sure at some stage you tried to make a go-kart. I know we did. But we had some help from the bigger people around, and I think they thought of all the other little bits that we did not. But I feel very proud for this crew for trying to build a little something and having an adventure. So if you look around at all the things about you, just maybe you would too come up with an idea to build something. So with school holidays coming up, well, you may just have a plan. So until next time, goodbye.